Does Mahindra have a future in Australia in 2023 as they enter our market in the range of value cars? So very much up the alley of my channel, and they are introducing a Scorpio, a new four-wheel drive true 4x4 SUV at a very competitive price range, which cannot not make me excited, as you can imagine. And while I have no access to a vehicle to take a look at, and as we will shortly see, the dealership network, at the very least for urban Sydney, for central Sydney, is kind of lacking at this stage, unless I'm missing something very obvious. You let me know in the comments down below. Those things aside, I think it's exciting times, and it is good to see another competitor brand within the range of value cars entering our market. So I thought we're going to have this detached from the vehicle but attached to the website and taking a look at the official specs, comparing as accurately as we can from the distance at the moment. That's how we're going to spend time in this video. If this is your cup of tea, please never think that your likes are not appreciated. They're very much appreciated, so please give me a like and let's talk about it. So Mahindra enters Australia with Scorpio. Scorpio, let's take a look at it on the website. It apparently is positioned as a rugged sort of SUV. From the look, first impression, again, I'm not looking at the car here in real space, in real life. I'm taking a look on the website, obviously pimped up, slightly zhuzhed up photos for marketing that they obviously always put on the websites, not just Mahindra but every other company. It looks a little bit, it reminds me for some reason of Isuzu. For some reason, let me know if this reminds you of Isuzu. It definitely reminds me of Isuzu. So do I like it? Yeah, I kind of like it. I think it's an okay four-wheel drive looking lifted sort of rugged SUV. Beyond that, how do we know, right? But let's take a look at what's at least stated on the website. So first of all, it's very much a 4x4, and it's a diesel straight away 4x4. So potentially, and I'm never positioned myself as a mechanical expert or someone who particularly even cares about petrol versus diesel, but I know a lot of you out there, people who are trying to buy this type of vehicle, those people are caring about whether it's petrol or diesel. Right now, for some weird reason, don't ask me why, diesel fuel is even more expensive than petrol fuel in Australia, not like it used to be, not even that long ago. 2-3 years ago, diesel was cheaper, much cheaper than petrol. Explain to me in the comments down below if you know why it's now more expensive, but it is more expensive. So diesel, for me personally, for a person who doesn't need that extra kilowatt power of the engine, something that would allow me to haul something behind the vehicles, a trailer, a boat, something like that, for me this is not necessarily a benefit. I would almost call it a negative. I would not want to have a diesel vehicle right now, pay more for the petrol, not having anything to haul, just need a run around vehicle around the city and feeling like I sit higher and more rugged and can go off-road, really kind of light off-road beach type of stuff. Yeah, so for me it's neither here or there. I'm not going to write it into negatives of the car, but I'm not going to write it into positives as opposed to the popular belief. You let me know if you see it only as a positive, that it's a diesel and it's positioned front and center, no kind of hidden costs by the look of it, at least right now from what I can gauge. It's positioned like this at a very competitive price range, $42,000 or $45,000, with a slightly further zhuzhed up model. Let's take a look at what exactly is included. It looks like it's a rather packed package. So it looks like it has a sunroof, it looks like it has a leatherette interior, not true leather. We can't expect true leather being anywhere these days. That's fine. Full LED package. Let's take a look at the full specs here. I would love obviously to take a look and to touch and feel, because you know how we can talk about anything like this in sort of elevated, excited tones, but when you touch it, it might feel great, or it might feel slightly on the cheaper side. So I think that is exactly where the massive difference is. And I personally, I'm in the same shoes as you are. I produce content that I would like to watch to start with. That has always been my motto. What I mean by that is there are right now 2, 3, 4, I counted this morning on YouTube, different reviews already of Scorpio popping up from the mainstream channels. But why I don't watch them is because they're flat out paid. They're flat out paid. I don't know if I can trust them. I know I can trust me, and I know you can trust me, but again, neither you or I right now are touching this car. and we will take a look at the dealership network, which doesn't help us in that sense much either. But from the looks, I like the looks. Looks are fine. Selection of colors seems fine to me. Massive infotainment screen of 20 centimeters. That's pretty good. Cooled glove box. Who cares about that? But that's pretty good. All the usual things, you know, USB chargers and all that kind of stuff. But sunroof is included. Diesel by default. And LED lighting package. It's full 18-inch alloy wheels. And why am I picking and choosing these little things here rather than going through the whole specification? Well, because who cares about full specification? You can download it and read it if you really want to. And I only pick out things that I would use, I would look at, that would make a decision for me. I like bigger wheels on four-wheel drives. Don't you? I like bigger wheels. You like bigger wheels. Everyone likes bigger wheels. 14-inch is mainstream. If it was smaller, it's not a four-wheel drive as far as I'm concerned. Even though some of my friends in the comments have said to me in the past that smaller wheels are actually not necessarily meaning that it has a lesser of an off-road capability. It actually offers a smoother ride, whatever. I like bigger wheels, end of the story. 18-inch is a pass mark. And for 41,000, it's a big car. I mean, it's okay. I guess it's okay. So far, so good. Yeah, let's say so far, so good. Passive keyless entry, presuming that you do not need to touch any buttons and it just opens to you. What else? And that's it on the website as I scrolled right now to the very bottom of this extended stuff. Let's go back to this page and see what else jumps out at us. And as always, talk to me in the comments down below if you spot something that I did not spot over here. We're looking at it in real time practically. It's a real time recording. Again, the colors, the look is okay. The colors seem all right, but again, it's a model. It's a 3D model on the screen right now. Very hard to trust it or not trust it for that matter. Then we have different driving modes: snow, normal, mud, and sand. Depends on how it drives. Truly, it's a good picture. I give them that. That's about it. Mechanical differential lock. That suggests that the car tries to compete with true four-wheel drive such as GWM Tank, when GWM Tank enters our market properly and is available, because I assume that Mahindra Scorpio is right now available. Looks like looks-wise, you know me, if you're my regular subscriber, I'm more of a boxy look, I'm more of a tank person, and this is a little bit more of a Prado, again, competitor. They again try to go for slightly softer urban look. Okay, I don't hold it against them, but that's just what they're doing over here by the looks of it. I could take it or leave it personally. Plus, let's not forget that at this price range, Tank already right now, just at the stated price on the Tank website, on GWM Tank website, Tank says that Tank is going to be straight up about 15 grand more expensive. Straight up, because Tank is going to push 60,000 Australian dollars in reasonable sort of set of features. In this particular case, we're looking at 42, 45. That is significantly cheaper, much cheaper. So price wise, this seems like a very good value proposition. But in a vacuum, again, in a vacuum of a website, please do not try to skim over this and suggest that I'm trying to draw conclusions without taking a look at the car. I'm not drawing any conclusions. That's a preliminary assessment. What else? 4x4 with low range. Okay, for true four-wheel drivers, it probably is a very appealing kind of thing. Emphasizes yet again electronic brake differential, body on frame chassis, so competitor to something that is solid and rock solid, such as Tank 300. All right. Gallery of a few pictures that I surely will use to spice up this video thumbnail. Thank you very much, Mahindra. This currently looks like it's a very good value proposition in terms of money. Okay, what can you get cheaper than this? Let's be honest. What can you get cheaper than this? That would be an SUV, mid to large SUV. You can get LDV D90, LDV D90, which I had and which I enjoyed to a certain extent, while I thought that my life is changing towards needing to drive more family passengers around. That's why I bought the 7-seater. If I'm not mistaken, this is not a 7-seater, by the way. This is a 6-seater, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. It is a 6-seater, and strangely enough, either I'm just skimming over this right now, or they actually did not put it front and center. It's a 7-seater. It's not a 5-seater, but I think it's not a 7-seater either. I think it's a 6-seater. Now, The thing that we will ask ourselves here is that because as any new car brand enters Australian market in 2023, we would need to at the very least ensure that we are supported enough by the brand in terms of warranty and dealership network and service network, so that if anything happens to this vehicle, especially to a vehicle that's designed to be in heavy use, off-road use, heavy beating, so to speak, yeah, we want to ensure that there is dealership network. So if we take a look at the dealership network over here, I believe that I have tried to find it here. So take a look at this. So numbers wise, if we take a look at the map and we take a look at their dealer locator, it looks like there are quite a few numbers wise dealers scattered across Australia, right? So I feel really badly for my Perth people because there are only 4 dealers even in that area, and I don't even want to zoom in. But I will give you an example of where you think, wow, you can't complain, Dmitry, you have 15 dealerships of Mahindra around Sydney. Well, let's take a look. Do I really? Do I? Well, let's take a look. We're zooming in and you can see that center of Sydney is somewhere here. That's roughly where I am. And then all these dealerships suddenly get scattered across New South Wales. And Sydney area is big, my friends. It's really, really big. So if we continue zooming in, we have only a couple of dealers anywhere around where realistically someone who lives in Sydney and works in Sydney, and that's a lot of people, that's me, that's a lot of my viewers, where those people are. Is it reachable? Yes, but it's nowhere near, well, first of all, it's nowhere near me. So I cannot just pop in and take a look, right? And take a look how I can take a look at some other cars here nearby, right across the road. Point is that there are not that many dealers really. Take a look at Sydney. Continue zooming out. We have 2 over here, very, very south of Sydney. That's a good hour of drive for me, for example, right? It's definitely not enough, Mahindra. Take a look. So when we say Sydney, when you zoom out to the, to the orbit, then it seems like they have maybe enough coverage, enough dealers. But when you take a look at it realistically like this, I continue zooming out. Can you see? We have one dealer somewhere there at Central Coast. Yeah, good, very good. And we have a couple of dealers down here, right? Point being, I don't want to rub it in, but point being that while we don't know about Mahindra enough, all we know is that it's an established biggest car seller in India. They are not in Australia. End of the story yet. Maybe they will be, God bless, but at the same time they are not right now. So for me, who doesn't know all that much about the brand other than take their word for it, great, with your 40 grand in hand, the least I want to see is a lot of dealerships available, straight up. Support, everything close to me. I don't want to have to drive for an hour and a half, potentially queuing up with other poor people who bought the car from everywhere in Sydney, and then we're all funneled to that one little dealership, one little service center, who knows where, and I need to take a whole day trip. Long story short, I think you see where I'm going with this, and I'm not even trying to be unkind. I'm just being honest here. I think that this is insufficient. It's insufficient to, we already, as you can see, not talking about the capabilities of the vehicle. We're talking about bare bones service, parts, just basic inquiries, whatever you need. And God forbid something actually happens to the car, which might happen. But as far as Sydney is concerned, the biggest, arguably after Melbourne hub in Australia, where if you're trying to make an entry into the market, Mahindra, you need to kind of say, hey, we're coming in force. Say how Chery did. Chery tries to overtake dealerships, tries to overtake MG dealership and the other kind of stuff. I don't want to enter speculative territory, but Chery is doing well. They're doing well because they are saying, basically they're saying bluntly, you don't know us? Cool. But we can tell you that we're here to stay and we're serious, we're investing money, we're having dealerships, we're having this kind of stuff. I am not seeing this from Mahindra, and I'm sad to say it. So in this particular case, even if the price point and even if the vehicle is looking okay to me, tell me what I'm missing, because this is a very transparent logic that any person with half a brain operational is going to apply. Where am I going to service my car if I live in multi-million people Sydney? Basically nowhere. Couple of places down south. That's it. That would be the only reason why I would say Mahindra is not ready to make a firm stand against anything really. Against anything established. I was going to even show to you Ford here and compare the prices favorably towards Mahindra. But what's the point? What's the point? Because who wants to buy a Ford is going to still buy a Ford. Who wants to save 20 grand is going to look for a way to spend 20 grand less. However, would those people be likely to travel to somewhere south coast to make sure that they somehow are covered for any emergencies and stuff with their new Mahindra Scorpio? It is not about the features of the car. I am deliberately not even focusing on this. You look at this setup and you can tell that Mahindra currently, specifically April 2023, are not setting up themselves for success and are not entering market in force enough for me and arguably for a lot of other people to show, to give them kind of their token of faith. Say, we have faith in you. We think that we can invest 40 grand and we'll buy a car from you, not from the guy next door, GWM, not from Chery, not from Ford, not from someone else established. This is my view on this. This is what I think about Mahindra. I think Mahindra Scorpio looks all right. I think it's an okay vehicle. I would like to take a closer look, but at the same time, I look at the dealership network, and from ownership perspective, I cannot imagine going with Mahindra right now. I'm sorry, I cannot imagine going with them right now. Let me know what you think. What have you heard? What do you know? Maybe you're somehow more exposed to this. Maybe you live closer to Chery and have been to Mahindra. Talk to me in the comments down below. As always, would love to have a nice friendly conversation. And that's it for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. Slightly different video today. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, don't leave without leaving me a like. And subscribe if you're here for the first time but you enjoyed this little chat. And goodbye for now. Talk to you soon.